Hello and welcome to another weekly update. I hope you're doing well. Some interesting things to talk about this week, so let's get into it. So the first thing is another one of those instances where I saw something kind of late last night and it's going to be a blog post once I've had a chance to write it up, but I wanted to share it with you first because I thought it was quite interesting. So you're getting kind of the inside, like my first thoughts about this before I really blog about it. So what am I talking about? Well, we've known for a while that you've been able to charge money for Microsoft Teams apps. That's a relatively new thing. It's been talked about for a really long time. And I've done previous blogs that go through what that process looks like of charging money for Teams in the App Store. And that's a thing that you can kind of do right now. And it's an established thing. And that's not what I'm talking about today. That sort of already exists. What is new that I didn't know about is some changes to documentation that showed up in the past couple of days around being able to make in-app purchases. So inside Microsoft Teams applications, the ability to do in-app purchasing. That's really interesting because it's making the Teams app experience much more almost like one of the big iOS Android stores. That whole experience of a walled garden, of money, of transactions and subscriptions and in-app purchasing, it's really kind of building out some of that functionality. So let me quickly share my screen. This is the page that caught my attention that I'd not seen before around in-app purchases. I'm going to write this up into a blog post because it's interesting, but just sort of roughly, there's some requirements around the SDK versions you're using, the fact that it already needs to have an offer, it needs to be in the store already as something that can be purchased. But specifically, I guess this SaaS offer can be a kind of a free but with purchasable options like type of SaaS offer. There's a specific change to the manifest to allow in-app purchases. So it's weirdly done as a resource-specific consent. I mean, fine, I get it, I suppose, but this is actually not resource-specific consent. And I'm kind of, these are my unfiltered thoughts as I'm having them right now. I've just realised that that's how that's being done. That the manifest, the resource-specific consent permission is being used to toggle whether or not in-app purchases can take place or not. For me, that's not quite really the right use for a permissions model. It's more being used as a feature flag, but I get it. I suppose, I mean, that's the toolbox. So you kind of use the tools you have in terms of what's the quickest thing to market and all the rest of it. I do think it muddies the water slightly, but that's just kind of me. Anyway, so there's an API. Within the Teams SDK, there's a specific open purchase experience function. So you can give those options. I guess you can call that any point inside your application. And yeah, wow. What does that look like for users? It looks like this. They can get this kind of pop-up to change their subscription plan. They can go from free to paid. Presumably they can go back again. And then they can check out and off they go. So really interesting changes, I think, for the Teams app model. Really brings some kind of commercial features, if you like, to the Teams development platform. And I think that's going to be good for kind of indie developers. I think probably more so there than enterprise developers. I feel like enterprise developers probably already have a mechanism of charging money for their applications, either at the organizational level probably, or licensing or something like that. But if you're a kind of small indie developer wondering whether or not you should put your app into the Teams App Store, well, I think this is just one more reason, because now you can you have a kind of mechanism for charging money and a model that lines up with lots of the other App Store models as well around, that kind of start out free and then offer kind of paid upgrades in app. So really interesting. So I'm going to do a blog post on that this week, but I wanted to tell you all about it because if you're watching this thinking, I really want to build an app, but I don't know where to get started because I really want to charge money halfway through. I want to start free and do like a freemium thing, and it doesn't look like that's possible. Well, now it is possible, and it's very new, so you can go and do it. Just go and look at that link that I'll put in the description, and you can get started. Okay, let's talk about something else. Jamie Maguire has done another blog post. So he blogs a lot about bot framework and bots and AI. amongst other things. He's an MVP, and this particular blog post I want to call out is one that he put out in the last week, and it's about using Bot Framework Composer and capturing data and events from adaptive cards. Now, so this is a flow I hadn't really thought about before. I've never really done in Anger, I don't think. All the times that I've been creating adaptive cards to send out to users, I don't think I've used this mechanism. I've always, like, the buttons that I've included in the adaptive cards have always gone elsewhere from Bot Framework. They've gone and been picked up by some Bot Framework SDK code normally, or something similar. But it is entirely possible, it turns out, to have Bot Framework Composer handle those events as well. And Jamie's got a great blog post telling you how to do that. So after talking about adaptive cards and the adaptive card JSON, so this you can kind of see. I wonder if I can zoom in a little bit. You can see the Bot Framework Composer screen, asking a question and sort of putting out the adaptive card. The bit I wanted to talk about, though, is this message received activity, because it's possible to hook in to the message received from this response. So that's really cool. And also, you can read the data and you can read the value that gets submitted from the adaptive card as well. So that's really nice. I suppose if I'd thought about it, maybe I would have said, yes, you could have done this, but I didn't really, I've never really tried it, hadn't thought about it, but I think it's a really nice idea. It means actually that you can create interactive applications in Bot Framework Composer all kind of by yourself, as in you don't need to call out to other applications, but you can do it with adaptive cards as well. You're not limited to just kind of text response, the kind of ask a question element of the Bot Framework Composer, which is what I might previously have used, I think, in making kind of an interactive bot experience. Knowing that you can do it in adaptive cards, knowing that Bot Framework Composer supports it, is really nice. And so, yeah, definitely go check that out. If you do stuff with bots and adaptive cards, then you might have been wondering about that piece of the puzzle. So it's great to have that blog post in the mix to kind of set us, so we know that's possible and we know how to do it. So nice one. It's cool. What else should we talk about? Okay, let's talk about this. So let's talk about Microsoft Teams app templates, which, if you haven't heard about them, you should go and check them out right now. I will wait for you. They're fantastic. They're a really good way of learning how to do Microsoft Teams development, or, depending on what you want, they're a ready-to-go set of open source, free-to-use, well-architected, well-documented applications that you can run in your Teams environment today. One of them is called the Building Access app. It's been pretty popular in the past couple of years. Probably predictably. Its job is to, it supports kind of building occupancy thresholds. So lets people check in and out of buildings and facilities, and allows the people that are in charge of all that stuff to kind of manage and track and report on who's on site, where and when. So as you can imagine, it's been pretty popular. There has been a bug that's been kind of showing up. You get like a weird error around the holidays error. You get like a weird 404 on a web content thing because it can't find some web URI. Really odd. It turns out that when they put this thing together, they relied on a kind of public web service to get information about public holidays, and that web service has now gone away. Maybe it just collapsed under the load of all those things. Was that the right thing to do at the time? Don't know. Like, we make developers do that stuff, right? We make decisions in the moment thinking we'll go back and sort that out, or we'll figure out if that was a good idea, and then you kind of forget about it and it gets baked into the code, and before you know it, you've made a dependency on some third-party free service you're not really in control of, and then it goes away and then everything breaks. And so that kind of sounds like that's what's happened. This seems to affect all versions, I think, including 2.0, which is the official Microsoft version. So there is a fix for it. It's on the Tech Peanuts website. It's done by Cristiano. It's not an official fix. So it is a kind of an open source contribution. It's not an official Microsoft fix. There's a disclaimer by Cristiano at the bottom here to tell you that. But it sounds like it should work. It's definitely worth checking out. If you're getting this error here, then you want to check this out and see if this is the fix for you. Because I don't know that web service is coming back anytime soon. So that is for you. If you're using the Building Access app and you're having those weird errors, then at least now you know what to do about it. And even if you're not having these, go check out the Building Access app, because depending on who you are and the sort of organization you work for, this could be exactly what you need. All right, and one more thing to tell you about, which is last week we did... Was it last week already? I think it was. Was it last week or was it the week before? I can't even remember. I think it was last week. We did Teams Fireside Chat for the first time. No, it must have been the week before. I think it was the week before. Maybe I just didn't talk about it last week. I can't really remember. All the days are merging into one. But anyway, the first Teams Fireside Chat happened. It was really good. So it's a community event. It's kind of open to anyone in the Microsoft Teams community. It's fairly loose in terms of format. There's a speaker who each time there's going to be like an expert. So you can do Q&A and they'll talk a bit about their subject. This time around it was Graham Walsh, who knows everything there is to know about Microsoft Teams devices. So that was really, really good. It was good to catch up with lots of people. Good to just to chat. Graham's done a really good job of compiling all the Q&A, all the questions that he got, and then writing down the answers. So you've got like a ready reference, which is really nice. So let me just share my screen so you can see that. Here it is. So all of the questions and answers from that first Teams Fireside session are documented on his blog site. So that's a really good idea. I love that. Yeah, so if you missed it, then you should go check it out. I think it's on YouTube. If not, and you just wanted to reference something that you heard that you've now forgotten, you can go and check the Q&A there. But that's a really nice resource as well. I think it's a good idea as well. It'd be interesting to kind of see if we can keep that up on every Teams Fireside Chat, because I think it'd be a really good repository of information. All right, I think that's everything I want to talk about this week. Yeah, I'm sure I feel like I've missed something, but I'm not quite sure what it is. But there's a lot of things going on at the moment, so that's probably why. I know I said last week about getting a video out about some cool stuff around Teams. I didn't manage to do that last week. It is on my list to do today. I think I've recorded it, but I had to record it over a couple of different days, so I hope it'll edit together okay. So yeah, it's on my list for today to edit that and get that hopefully done today or tomorrow, so we'll see. But yes, that coming soon. All right, whatever it is you're doing today, I hope you're not behind like I am, and I hope you have a great week, and whatever it is you're doing, and I will talk to you again next time.